easiest, the fastest, while not losing any maintenance of their lanes throughout the draft and throughout the first kind of 10 minutes of the game.
Yeah, and we'll see something similar here. We're going to have a bit of a 4 protect 1 in the beginning for Wraithing, like you say, until he gets quite online. With the Sven probably played around the same way, perhaps not around that Radiance Midas timing though. And here are the presentations as the team finally load in.
Of course, it's symmetrical. UK Dota, they've got loud voices.
Oh, tell me about it. I meet them in my pubs all the time. Jesus Christ, the loud voices. Well, game has started and we get to see the lanes now. I do like, by the way, that you talk about that kind of position for not so relevant as a core Mars. I like it. I do enjoy it. I think it does work better for a lot of teams. Because you don't rely on him as your sole initiator as you get to the late game, where BKBs are rampant and your arena stops being so impactful. But well,
I think it's similar ideology to like the Enigma pos for that kind of thing, where you know that a black hole is going to be a black hole. Very rarely is it going to get interrupted for a second or 2 seconds. Very rarely is it going to fail. The threat is going to be there, and potentially the ability is going to be there. Same thing with Mars ulti. But the thing is, Mars doesn't farm jungle and accelerate. He plays the lanes. And I think that's become incredibly important in recent times, where we're seeing more and more heroes just play the lane, get that regen, trade, harassment battle done with in the first 3-4 minutes. Try and bust your opponent's economy early on while you rush for one of the side lane bottles, for example, is a good move that a lot of these players are making. And also Mars brings you that displacement ability. Having Spear, moving someone halfway down a lane, it can be insane. You think about how Tiny was so valuable as a position 4 hero because of Toss. Mars does a very similar thing, but he also scales much more linearly, it feels like. You know when he's strong, you know he's always going to be bringing stuff to the table, whereas Tiny is very much, Avalanche Toss, burst, one and done. Mars is much more broad in terms of aspects he brings to the game.
I agree. He has the option to go for utility as well, not such a high, pickup. Like, yeah, a bit of a dependency on the Blink Dagger, but Tiny, much higher dependency on that ability. And he also has a bit of rotational power, much like Tiny. All these heroes that do offer that, positional abilities work really nicely ganking the mid lane or even rotating a bit. Much more than a lot of the supports that we see nowadays. And we are going to see the Pango mid. We have actually seen this once, these qualifiers. I saw it in South America in the finals, actually. They lost, though, but ADR did play a Pango mid. The idea was to deal with illusions of the Pango mid against a CK, particularly. It did not work out for them, but it was a good idea. It was actually very well played as well. Unfortunately, it did not work out, but we'll see how it works this time with For Your Awesome Fun. Bit of a different proposition.
Exactly, they're playing the position 3 from the mid lane, right? They wanted these specific lane matchups to get the aggro try into the Wraith King to try and bust him as early as possible. You know that with Willow AA, the double range supports, you're going to out-harass and out-trade your opponents, and you have kill threat with a Storm Hammer onto any hero. So they want to try and put the pressure on, and they'll do so now.
Yeah, but they stop playing, the counter pressure's coming in. Hanskin ready with that spear. Do you have enough damage to bring down Symmetrical? Very close to that. Hanskin chasing after him, but the auto attacks are just not enough. The Wraithing actually decided to leave this engagement quite quickly. Frost did not want to keep engaging, and they can't get the kill on the enemy carry.
Yeah, so they want to play aggro into this lane, make sure that Mars, like we were saying earlier, doesn't get to play the lanes and have that displacement ability mess up anybody else's laning stage. Leaves the Pango in a 1v1 against the Ember Spirit, which is going to be a farm trade, reasonably strong for both of them. Pango probably has an upper hand in the very early laning stage, just through Swashbuckle and Shield Crash. But he's gone for a 2-0-1 build, so that disarm's going to come in handy as well. And then you're leaving Timbersaw, the most important one here, I think, for Arkan City. This is the lane matchup that they've set up for everything. Timbersaw against Beastmaster. Timber's going to be able to get to level 4, level 5, start cutting the wave and pressuring this tier 1 tower from a very early point.
Yeah, that's the ideal situation as well. You let Timbersaw have the solo experience, farm as well with a pretty favorable matchup. Yeah, Beastmaster still can do something with the boards and whatnot, but just can't get close to lane. Annoying whirling death, constantly sending him out. And the idea then is, as you mentioned, Rajix, to create that space for your carry later on once you have that early game win. In the middle lane, no, that's just a bit of a farm trade. And you also will do something similar as well. So the Timbersaw Pangolier actually have nice little peaks here that will work in conjunction to start those early game team fights, allow your Sven to farm the jungle safely without the need of him joining the fights.
Yeah, it's a super nice route. Their mid and bot laner both having solo lanes, and they're both utility heroes. So their peaks come a lot sooner than, say, the Ember Spirit or this Beastmaster, who require more itemization than they do actual levels. You think about, Beastmaster's raw, it may get you a kill, but very rarely can you shove out anywhere without a Vlad's, a Necrobook, Roshan, get Medallion, that sort of thing. Whereas Pango with an Arcane's a bottle, he's moving around and through his ultimate alone causing chaos.
Yeah, and the build-up is what? A Javelin? Essentially, you already have all the damage you need. It's amazing. Very cheap build-up there. So TFT will be a bit threatened early on because of this, but for now the lanes are not going particularly in anyone's favor. A bit afraid, though, if you're TFT, of leaving this Timbersaw completely alone against the Beastmaster. I mean, you want to rotate some heroes, maybe even the Mars, just to offer some pressure, but let him free farm entirely.
Yeah, the Timbersaw is definitely your primary worry right now. Look at stacking the Ancients, Pablo's baiting them.
Yeah. If you rotate people here as well, you also force them to go for a 2v2 perhaps, because Timbersaw might not want to have a 2v1 lane, and then you obviously take some experience away from Timbersaw, even if you are not necessarily winning the lane yourself because of that.
Yeah, we do have to think about, later down the line, we obviously feel like Arkham City here, oh god, Beastmaster, gets the salve off, he'll be alright, yeah, he's fine, don't you worry.
Yeah, no more mana for Willing Deaths, no Soul Ring yet on the Timbersaw, so can't be quite aggressive yet.
But you see how dangerous that is. Once Rajix hits level 6 or so, that's kill after kill after kill. So now the question has to be, does TFT rotate heroes bot, or do they keep going aggressive on symmetrical top?
Well, for now, it seems like they're trying to be aggressive and maybe force a kill on symmetrical. However, his positioning has been quite good until now. Warcry also gives him a bit of a saving ability, and the supports have been nice at protecting symmetrical. Even with the skeletons that Frost is trying to summon here, hurting a bit. Just not good enough. Meanwhile, Dark Willow here, Pablo actually steals the rune. TFT, not the best timing there. They should have been more aware of the bounty rune. They could have contested that. We're seeing 2 engagements now. You also fighting double damage, trying to catch Chessie. Double damage doesn't add damage to Swashbuckle, but he can still kill Chessie. Instead, we're going to see a kill in the top lane. I took a guess and I missed. Just that to happen.
Yeah, I was watching top lane. They just all aimed on the Wraith King, right? The Mars, the Jakiro, they weren't available. Observable from the Radiant Deep, watching out for the Jakiro's stacks and pulls through on that lane, so they knew exactly where their opponents were, taking full advantage of it. Taking down Frost for first blood.
Oh, and top lane, Pexu could be in trouble. The spear does not quite work as intended. Yeah. Dota for you. Remember the Firefly trick on Bad Rider, or the Spectral Dagger trick? You used to do that as well.
Yeah. That's why I don't like playing Mars, because I don't know where stuff like that's going to happen, and I always seem to find the spots where that's going to happen, so my spears never hit. Pablo's like, oh god, there we go again. See, he just goes straight over the ramp, past all the cliff tops, and Pablo's safe and sound away from that very likely death against Chessie, honestly.
Yeah. It's what's a building, what's not a building, what actually impacts the Mars' spear. It's just a matter of trying the hero out and just eventually finding out. Dota is not known for its consistency. Particularly. It's quite a difficult ability to actually learn to land. No, top lane, another initiation against Pixel. This time is Johnson Fight who joins in with the Rolling Thunder. They'll catch you. Ooh, the Wraith King, a much more valuable target. Still level 3. No reincarnation. This man not even close. Johnson Fight with his level 6. Misses the swashbuckle. Damage is still enough though. Pixel will go down. Pexu gets that kill.
Another nice grab, and this is why they're tri-laning top, right? Pango mid, up towards top, has an easy rotation to make. Doesn't matter really what rune he gets. It's, a rune is a rune. Fills his bottle, heads top, gets a kill. Wraith King yet again pressured, and Wraith King's timing delayed. That's the most important thing. We were hammering on about these timings for the carries. Wraith King's one of the most important ones. That Midas has to be online early. He doesn't have phase boots yet, and we're starting to look at a time at which he should have phase and radiance, in about 1.5 minutes, 2 minutes. It's looking rough for Frost.
It is. The level difference as well. Even Sven is already 1 level above him. We already know that Sven also farms naturally better. Even though he has not gone for any points yet in Cleave to not push out the lane, it's most likely going to be a 1-3-1 build just to push out, or sorry, take those stacks a bit afterwards. And TFT is hanging out here with Hanskin, but he has no mana, so no real kill attempt here anymore. Wraith King is actually relegated to the jungle. Doesn't seem like the lane went too well for TFT. The early game is working exactly as Akin intended.
Yeah, you look down towards bottom. Look at that Timbersaw where he is. That's what I'm saying. He's already taking the tier 1. He's on the tier 2. Doesn't give a damn. The Beastmaster's doing the best he can. Jibby is cutting wave down bot, dragging with the boars. So he still is getting a decent amount of experience, plenty of levels on his Beastmaster. So Helm of the Dominator being up and likely heading into that Necro book. He just can't stop the push from the Timbersaw. It's obnoxious.
Yeah, right now as a Beastmaster, like, what are your options? In fact, Yosum fans actually attempted to gank here. Going for Shiva, there we go. Primal Roar stopping him, but Rajix does get a bit of damage off that Chakram. And misses the Timber Chain up to the high ground. They're still chasing after him with some illusions as well. Yosum fan hoping to proc that Lucky Shot. No Lucky Shot just yet. Shiva under the tower. They're diving this. There's no TPs. They're not helping out their core. Let him die, they say, as Akin takes yet another kill. Good rotations here by Yosum.
So usually when that's happening, you would expect to see somewhere else on the map TFT are making strides to accomplish something. But they weren't pushing mid lane, they weren't trying to make an aggressive move top. Sven dips back into the triangle now so he can farm jungle with his Hand of Midas, which he has and Wraith King doesn't. Again, coming back to that timing. They try and make a play on Pango mid. Chessie has another couple of remnants here. A difficult kill to grab still though with that swashbuckle away. And yeah, Amber gives up on it. So right now it feels like TFT, they're just trying to weather the storm. They feel like post 25-30 minutes, maybe they have an upper hand with the with this Ember Spirit being so maneuverable and so slippery, and the very little amount of catch, honestly, on the Radiant team does make his life a dream. Chessie could have an exceptional game if they're able to kind of break the back of this early game shove in from the Radiant, because you're going to start losing all of your outer towers very soon.
That's true. The idea behind Akin is just resist all the damage that this Ember might ever put onto you. Not necessarily catch him or kill him, you just don't care about him. With the Timbersaw Sven, even a Pango to some degree can also evade a lot of this damage. Other supports stand behind these two tanky cores. Or if they get the farm in time, you know, that's definitely going to happen here. I see Symmetrical could be in trouble here. There's the Searing Chains. Symmetrical still quite tanky, but Mars from behind tries to hit him. There's a Spear of Mars. It will hit against a tree. Symmetrical could be dead here. Goodbye as Chessie gets the kill, backs out. And now it's time for Yosum fan to avenge his dead teammate, hoping to kill the Jakiro in the process. Era will go down, but support for core, definitely a win right now for the guys at TFT. Hopefully not losing a second support in the process. Hanskin right now. Alright, trying to get back home. Timbersaw meets him. TP's not the right place to TP, buddy. Gotta go down to the damage that Akin can put out.
Yeah, I think they are so committed to the chase that you die no matter what happens. Tries to go for the optimistic TP. May have worked, may not. It didn't this time. Unlucky, buddy. But this is where now the Timbersaw is going to set up home. He's going to shove out top tier 1 into tier 2, open up that dire jungle, and try and close out the area of the map that Wraith King and Ember can farm. Because TFT just got a really nice version of it. They're keeping themselves in the game with pickoffs like that. Taking out the Sven, getting money up on your Chessie Ember Spirit, and you can see how freely Chessie feels he can play. He's diving tier 1, almost tier 2 in that mid lane, chasing after the Pango because this Radiant side doesn't have any way to catch him.
Yeah, how do you really stop Chessie right now? He knows this, and because of it, he's creating quite a lot of space, threatening that as tier 1 and reducing the map. Oh, top lane there is this, an arena, as you mark. It's actually Symmetrical, who goes down here in the arena with the combination of both him and the Beastmaster. No use of the Primal Roar there, as we can see. Just the Mars itself, support killing your core, essentially.
I mean, Beastmaster was there. I didn't need to use the Roar, but he has the Purge Creep to take off Warcry.
Oh, that's true. That's quite important. Necronomicon already.
They're chasing down with the balls, with that little Purge Creep. You said Necrobook. The medallion's up on the Beastmaster. I don't know if he needs to go Necrobook this game. He might just go all auras, honestly.
I'd like to see the medallion helm kind of utility Beastmaster as well. Like, I wouldn't mind seeing Necro because, you know, you actually do have a okay start for the Beastmaster. But unless this happens to him, where they Ice Blast him, he does the TP. Here's the help from the Timbersaw. Will the damage be sufficient? Yes, the Fear as well to cancel that TP. Trying to get the creep in the process. They do get 200 extra gold for the Pangolier.
Easy money.
Yeah, that's a lot of good money, actually. Rajik's TP just for this with barely any mana, but it was definitely worth it.
What's Timber got? Hood? Majority of Yule's going to be ready. this Timbersaw is going to be an absolute beast. 6,200 net worth. But it's still so difficult to kill off Jesse. You know, he's got a haste rune bottle. He's going to have drums. Wait, did he go drums now? That's complete, right? No, he's going Earth. Straight in Spirit Vessel against this Timbersaw. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. Oh. Think so. Right now, he's playing quite confidently. They can still stun him, though. They don't get the bounce off, but they do get the cold feet off. That should be enough damage. Jesse will go down. Eventually, you can't get too arrogant. They pull Rajix away. But
he has a remnant.
He did, but he couldn't because he was stunned out, I think. Oh, no, he didn't have the mana, actually. He didn't have the mana to go to the remnant. That's why.
Yikes.
Yeah.
So what I was saying about Jesse's free game, it only counts if Jesse doesn't run into the middle of 5 heroes and do that.
Stands to reason, yeah.
Yeah, that was a mistake. Well, we'll put that behind us and move on. Ern is now up on Jesse, so he still definitely wants to play this hyper-active Ember Spirit. You know, he makes space for Raging. He's got Radiance queued up on Frost, so that's the direction they're heading. It's going to be that 25 to 30-minute period where they become this unstoppable ball of motion, moving in towards your base, as they did snipe out the Radiant Courier as well.
That's pretty good for TFT, you know. Slowly slowing down the game that this Timbersaw's trying to play, taking the Courier a bit more gold. Jesse now playing with the Timbersaw Rajix. Think of just going for the tower, but TFT, there's 3 heroes here. They do have the Arena Blood if they want to play this. I don't know if they can kill this Timbersaw, though. He has quite a lot of stacks out of reactive armor, already maxed out as well. Here comes the Wraith Team, though. Arena Blood with the Spirit of Mars. And they put the Timbersaw against the wall with the Ice Blast, trying to help him out. There's the Fear as well. Magnificent Terrorize, allowing Rajix to get away. That Terrorize just gave him his life. You cannot kill this Timbersaw in time.
Man, this is a DD Rune Ember Spirit scared to go in. That Timbersaw did not die. Just absolutely did not die. Even if that Terrorize hadn't landed on 4 people to send them all packing away from the Mars Arena, I think Rajix survives there. He had 1 charges, he had Hood,
top
Baron
lane
Shield.
You also could be... Oh, no. He has 1 last swashbuckle. Can they catch him? No.
Nah, he's good.
He's good.
Just gonna swashbuckle away.
Oh, but the Rune Wars are starting.
Nice.
Dark Willow snaps.
By Pablo.
Yeah, very good Rebel Mace there. But sorry, you were talking about the 4-man Terrorize. That was absolutely fantastic. And that Timbersaw was not going to die regardless.
Yeah, the Timbersaw was just absolutely flying through it all. That's how great this pick has been. 2-0-2 on Rajix currently, taking out all of the outer tier 1s, lining the pockets of his supports with tons of gold. We're looking at a Dark Willow here with Yule's pretty much completed. The Ancient Apparition, you know, he's got brown boots, he's got his magic stick, he's fine. He's playing a very, very hard position 6 this game, but still has decent itemization already going forward. And now we start to see the Yule Scepters coming up.
yung cellphone. Cellphone mo. Natin yung cellphone.